So one of the things that's pretty fun about tournament season is we get to take these models that are used in the tournament and add them to the library of CAD challenges over here at TooTallToby.com. If you sort these by newest, you can see that this one here was added just about a week ago, and you can see here that this one has had 23 successful solvers using a variety of different CAD systems, and you can see here that it has an average solve time of 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Think you can solve it faster using your CAD system? Well, visit us at TooTallToby.com to find out. All right, guys. Well, listen, these guys are both regulars on the show. They're regulars in the tournament. They know what to expect, so I don't think we need to build it up anymore. I'll just say this. These are two of the fastest speed modelers we have. They're both using their regular seats of SolidWorks, so they are both ready to put on a show here. And here we go, guys. This next CAD vs. CAD battle featuring Ricardo from Brazil, a 3-time tournament winner using SolidWorks, going up against Gray from Russia using SolidWorks, our number 2 seed versus our number 3 seed. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1. Go! What is the mass of this part in XXXX grams? The tolerance is very generous, plus or minus 5 grams. And look at this thing, Connor. It's a bike rack.
Nice.
It's a bike rack. This thing's made from 6061 aluminum. You got tubing running up and around this thing. Tubing, 30 millimeter tube by 25 ID. And then you've got some solid rods, some 15 millimeter solid rods that are making that kind of like a coat hanger type of shape.
Nice.
So we've got Ricardo on the left getting into it here. We've got Gray on the right. I think Gray is still kind of planning out what he's going to do with this thing. Let's get over to our CAD versus CAD battle and see where these guys go. Interesting, it looks like Ricardo decided to start with a plane there. He's creating a plane. He typed in 1500 over 2. And then he did a little bit extra there as well. I don't want to give away any trade secrets there, but that was there's a little bit of extra on the end there. Very interesting. And so, of course, when it comes to a model like this, just like all the models that we've talked about throughout the day today, you want to discretize the process into multiple steps. You want to think to yourself, how am I going to model this thing up? And it looks like the most obvious way to break this up would be to say that you want to have the main kind of tubular shape that's going up and around the outside be be one of the discretized regions, and then you'd want the solid wire hanger to be another discretized region, and then the pattern of those hangers would be maybe like your third discretized region. Now, the question is, when it comes to constructing that tubular shape, can you do that all at once? Do you need to do it in multiple phases? And I think that's what we're going to see from our runners. Yeah. So both of our runners starting out with an offset plane, both of our runners starting out with a sketch here, both of our runners putting the origin at the same spot.
Nice.
Goes to show that as you learn and develop your best practices, you can really refine your workflows and your skills. I love Gray here on the right using offset with some special tools here to kind of include all the geometry. That's pretty sweet, and that's something that I always recommend my students do when they're working with any kind of like a tube shape, because now you see Gray can easily calculate that max top value.
Nice.
So it took a little bit of extra time for him to kind of get that extra step in there, do that offset, but I think it's really going to pay off as far as making it easy to understand what it is that he's working on. So really cool start there from Gray, 100% approved. Ricardo on the left in the meantime looks like he's actually in a 3D sketch here. And wow, look at that. He's already constructed. Holy smokes, what did he do? He laid out the one side and then turned that into a 3D sketch.
That's cool.
Wow. Super, super impressive there. And but look at Gray on the right here. He's doing the same thing. He's converting that into a 3D sketch. He's adding that fillet there. And wow.
It's like Ricardo drew first blood.
Yeah, Ricardo drawing first blood, getting that whole thing in place there, opting to do the entire tube at once there, constructing a new plane here, offsetting it 100 millimeters for that first hanger. So wow, guys, this is awesome. I love the fact that we're able to see both of these guys trying to solve their way through this.
Yeah. It looks like, I don't know if Ricardo's planning or if his screen is frozen.
I think he's probably planning. The hanger's not necessarily easy geometry. And see, look, SolidWorks does this thing sometimes where when you draw off of an arc, it like forces you into tangent. That's something that I actually really like about Fusion, is that there's a hard workflow to control that, where in SolidWorks it seems like it's a little harder to control. Might be some order of ops problems. Jordan, when I read that at first, I thought you were saying there might be some OBS problems. I thought I was having maybe like a broadcasting issue, but good to hear that it's a
little bit of PEMDAS.
Yeah.
This is one of those parts where you got really, I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. This is something where, like, you see Ricardo here is adding in that material, 1/2 material thickness to get his dimensions to be the outside as well. This is definitely a tricky part, but it's representative of what the customer will give you. Like when a customer gives you a print, or especially like a hand sketch, they're not thinking about things like, oh, well, when you sweep it, you're probably going to sweep about the center line. They're just thinking about things like overall dimensions. What's the dimension from the floor to the bottom of that hanger? You know, that's what the customer is thinking about. And so you can see that Ricardo is taking that into account here by including kind of some layout geometry, some offset geometry. And we saw Gray do that earlier with his offset geometry, and we see him doing it again now over on the right. So this is really, really interesting to see, and we're going to see which one of our runners ends up, coming up with the correct geometry and the correct mass of this thing in pretty short order here, I think.
Yeah.
But as is the case with all these matches today, I don't think any of these are going to be sub 3 minutes. I don't think this one's going to be sub 3 minutes. Just going to make a prediction.
Yeah, I agree.
And and I'm all for it, man. I love seeing this stuff. I love seeing how they solve. These are real world challenges. Not only the geometry of the parts is real world, but also things like what I mentioned a moment ago, like needing to create a dimension that goes to, like here, you see Ricardo's got to add in a dimension here that goes to the max height. That's what the customer gave us. The customer didn't give us the dimension to the center. They give us the dimension for the max height.
Yeah.
And so Ricardo getting in there and trying to figure out how to get that geometry in place. And now I think we might see kind of what Jern was alluding to earlier with regards to order of operations. You see that both of our runners have this kind of half sketch in place, but now they need to figure out what they're going to do to get it to actually come up and connect. And Ricardo Jean looking like he's going to opt to use an extrude up to surface to create that geometry. Wow. And he's got that plane in the center already that it looks like he's going to be able to use for his mirror. Oh, he's using that end face of that thing for the mirror. And wow, this thing is really coming together fast now for both of our runners. They both have this thing at the final phases. My goodness, this is going to be close. Wow, Ricardo Jean, look at this. Opting to use a move body instead of using a linear pattern because it gives you the XYZ right off the shoot. You don't have to pick a direction for the pattern. That's another super advanced move. Yeah, pro move. And we're going to see an answer here, I think, any moment. Ricardo Jean on the left applying his material and possibly coming in here with an answer. We're watching the chat. Ricardo Jean comes in with an answer. 5,338 grams. And that is correct.
Nice.
And congratulations to Ricardo Jean. The answer that I had in my answer sheet was 5,339. And that is plus or minus 5 grams.
Very nice.
Wow. Very, very nice. There was some super speedy modeling there, and they were both very, very close. And man, that is not easy geometry. This is why Ricardo Jean is a 3-time champion, because whether it is machining type geometry, machined geometry, whether it's drafted geometry, whether it's sweepy lofty geometry, he's got the moves, man.
Yeah.
Wow. And Gray right behind him with that well-deserved number 2 and number 3 seed in this tournament. They both are just so fast. That easily could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Man. This is what's up.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, guys. Put a GG in the chat for Ricardo, earning that point. Very nicely done. Congratulations. And thank you again to our prize sponsor, 3D Connection. Work faster without the stream. Thanks to 3D Connection. And of course, thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Fotino's Design, CAD Design Services, from CAD expert and former 2023 world champion.